My beloved, do you think it's an accident that you're hearing my voice right now? No. Heaven planned this moment long before you took your first breath. Here on Holy Voices, we share the whispers of eternity, the messages that change hearts and awaken destinies. If your soul is ready, stay with me, because what you're about to hear might be the very word your spirit has been waiting for. Give $22, and it will be given to you. Luke 6 verse 38. Activate this promise by blessing Holy Voices. There has been a warning uttered over your current life. Additionally, Archangel Michael has been given the authorization to bring it to you. However, there is a shade, a gloom that is wrapped around the grin of a woman who is not quite who she appears to be. In this case, I am referring to her as the witch. In addition, she has one goal in mind, which is to take everything that you have been blessed with. It is not just your wealth or your gifts that are important, including the light that, in the eyes of both men and women, makes you appearance lovely. Even the radiance that attracts miracles to you in your direction. She will have it. Also, if you choose to ignore this, I will not be able to stop her from moving on. My little child, you are completely unaware of how close she is by. While she has been observing you, she has been smiling in your presence and acting as though she admires you. She is aware that your moment is getting closer, despite the fact that every compliment she gives is laden with poison. She is able to sense the fact that your door of miracles is opening, and she has already made up her mind. She will make sure that you lose whatever it is that you have if she is unable to have it. Last night, I sent Michael to fight for you in the war. It was a violent war fought. Swords clashed, causing the stars to shake violently. And in the midst of the conflict, her name was disclosed to the audience. Please pay attention to what I have to say. There are 3 minutes left, and you should not panic but rather get ready. For the reason that Michael will reveal her identity to you in a manner that no human being could possibly refute if you continue reading and if you listen with your full heart. You are going to face her, you are going to be familiar with her, and you are going to be armed with a shield to stop her for good. However, if you choose to walk away from the situation and convince yourself that this is not for you, then heaven will not be able to stop her in time when she begins to strike. To put it simply, my dearest, this message was not placed in your path by accident or by coincidence. Rather, I purposefully placed it there. At this very now, you are receiving the spiritual protection that you have been seeking. Listen to my heart before I proceed any farther. You are far too precious to be left unprotected, and you are far too anointed to be left out in the open without any form of protection. What is coming for you is going to be much more powerful than the storm that is chasing you, I guarantee you. Please pay close attention, my dear friends. It is not the first time that she has attempted to do this. There have been times in your history when you have experienced unexpected delays, unexpected losses, and doors that should have opened but instead slammed shut completely. That was the work that she did. However, she reached a point of desperation this time. When it comes to this particular instance, she is prepared to fully remove you from your harvest season. Consequently, heaven will not permit you to continue to stroll around blindly any longer. The eyes of Michael are like fire, and he is standing here with his sword drawn, ready to protect you. However, he will not be able to intervene unless you are willing to give your whole attention to what is being stated at this very moment. If you have an open heart, then this is where the journey of revelation begins. Before I proceed, I would like to make a request of you, my beloved. You are to perform one task with all of your heart. Join me here in this room. Be sure not to walk off. Avoid telling yourself, I'll come back later, since heaven warns that it might be too late by the time you get there. Michael is in possession of the scroll that contains the unknown information. Currently, he is keeping a close eye on you, waiting to see if you are still paying attention. As well as that, I have to tell you something that I have never previously spoken in this manner. This message serves as a gateway. In the event that you make it through it in its entirety, your defenses will be established, and the witch's power will disintegrate into dust before it can ever come into contact with you again. However, if you delay, if you omit even a single phrase that I am going to tell you, then the shield will not be able to be locked in place, and she will locate the one hole that she is looking for. Therefore, I strongly encourage you, my chosen one, to maintain your spirit in this moment as if it were your life that is at stake, simply because it does so in ways that you are not yet able to perceive. You have been perplexed as to the reason for the peculiar sensations that have been enveloping you recently, a reason why certain faces no longer have the same feeling. If you listen to familiar voices, you may notice that they sound slightly different. Beloved, it is not a matter of imagination. Discernment is the term. The present that I implanted within you a very long time ago is now reawakening to caution you. Her words have been woven together like silk threads, and she has been creeping closer to you while seeming to care. However, each thread is a hidden curse that is intended to slow you down, drain your delight, and cause you to question yourself just enough for her to strike. She keeps an eye out for times when you are feeling exhausted, when you suspect that you are being ignored, and when you begin to believe that your light has been extinguished. Those are the fissures that she intends to enlarge until all of the beauty that I have bestowed upon you makes its way into her hands. However, I have made the decision that this will be her last effort. It is not enough for me to simply block her. I have also requested that Michael expose her in such a way that even she will be unable to deny that she has been observed. Be more near to me, my child. Not very often do the words of heaven come with such a sense of urgency, unless the time is extremely precise. Despite the fact that her power is not superior to mine, her trade is extremely hazardous when it is not challenged. Before you have even arrived, she has already spoken to individuals you have not yet met and murmured your name in places you have not yet been. She is attempting to change the way they perceive you before you have even arrived. She feels that if she is able to steal your beauty, the sparkle in your eyes, the charm in your voice, and the way that blessings are drawn to you, then she will be able to walk into your harvest season as if it were hers. There is no way she is aware that I have been following her every move. She is unaware that Michael has followed every single strand of her strategy all the way back to her own heart through the entire process. At this moment, my dearly beloved, the scroll is beginning to unfold, and her shadow is going to be drawn into the present. However, this is the portion that ought to be clear to you. The open scroll will not remain open indefinitely. There are no secrets like this that are left hanging in the breeze in heaven. The door will be locked once more if you do not glance at it right now. No amount of appealing, prayer, or fasting will be able to open the door once it has been shut. This is because the damage has already been done. Because I want you to fully comprehend the significance of what is in front of you, I am speaking in a straightforward manner. At this very now, you have the opportunity to secure yourself under heavenly protection before the storm begins to make its way toward you. In addition, there is no denying that it is already bowing. At the same time that I can feel the pull of the tide on the shore, I can also sense the pull of her intentions. Just give me your entire attention. There are forces that move in the shadows, and there are conflicts that you never see with your eyes but feel in your spirit. Both of these phenomena are true, in the domain that you are unable to touch at this moment. The sword wielded by Michael is coming into contact with something sinister, something that hisses whenever your name is mentioned. It is the spirit of the witch, who is agitated and enraged because her opportunity to cause you damage is coming to an end. She is putting up a battle to keep it open. On the other hand, heaven is exerting more effort to shut it down. Therefore, you are able to hear me at this moment. What is the reason that these words have come to you at this very moment? Because time is passing by at a rate that is faster than you are aware of. I have something that I need to plant in your heart before we move on to the next phase, my beloved. Maintain a connection to this continuous flow of my words. You must not damage it. It is not because I am silent that so many of my chosen people fail to recognize their miracles. Rather, it is because they end their hearing at the midway point. Because of this, they exit the conversation too soon. When they do, the adversary enters the room to take possession of what I was going to hand over to them. The question that I have for you is as follows. Keep your heart and mind open. Keep your attention fixed on this particular point, because I am going to place a key in your palm in the middle of this message that will utterly remove her from your life. Beloved, I can sense your heart drawing nearer to me at this very moment. That is just where I require it to be at this moment. You will notice that the truth becomes more transparent as you move closer to her, and the fog that she has built over you will begin to recede. I have observed any instances in which you have questioned your own judgment. There have been times when you have stayed up wondering if the sudden chill that appeared in some eyes was a sign that you had done something wrong. To be clear, it was never about you doing something wrong, child. Your click of faith, like, subscribe, and a $12 super thanks, could be the miracle link for someone else. The concept revolved around her working in quiet to alter the atmosphere that you were in. She quickly realized that she could not approach you openly because your spirit carries a fire that would burn her lies in a matter of seconds. She knew this a long time ago. As a result, she made the decision to move stealthily, to conceal her feelings of envy with a smile, and to pretend to be friendly to her while simultaneously removing threads from your life in places where she believed you wouldn't notice. Your exhaustion was her goal. She desired for you to have doubts because a soul that is exhausted and uncertain does not fight back. In contrast, heaven never intended for you to confront her without first being aware of the extent of her involvement in this matter. This is the reason why I am breaking the silence at this moment. I rely on you to comprehend how uncommon this particular moment is. In most cases, heaven does not reveal the identity of a spirit before it hits. In most cases, my protection will cover you, ensuring that the attack will never come close to touching you. Instead, you will just proceed forward, oblivious to the threat that has been removed. Today, however, things are different. Due to the fact that this attack is so venomous, so personal, and so aimed at the very center of who you are, I have made the decision that you must see her before she makes her move. Blocking her is not sufficient on its own. She must be brought to light. Because the truth is that if she stays concealed, she will come back over and over again until she discovers the one vulnerable moment in which she may take everything in a single blow. It is not going to take place. This is not the case if you stay here with me to the conclusion of this word. My dear child, I want you to feel the significance of the next thing that I say to you. The beauty that you possess extends beyond your reflection. This is the light that I have planted within your spirit. This is the kind that garners favor. It is the kind that causes others to open doors for you and turn their hearts toward you without knowing why. The presence of that light is a sign that I am here. It is evidence that you are mine, and she despises the fact that I have you. She is unable to produce it. It is impossible for her to earn it, and she cannot steal it without first convincing you that you never had it in the first place. The purpose of her game is to make you oblivious to the value that you possess so that she can enter your life and take advantage of your blessings while you are too preoccupied to notice. However, my beloved, I will not allow you to forget who you are anymore. You have been selected. Right from the moment you were conceived in the womb, you were already anointed. And the witch may hiss at the edge of your life, but she will not be able to cross the line that Michael has drawn until you give up on this message before it is done. Please pay attention to what I have to say, my dearest. With a specific purpose in mind, heaven has positioned you in front of this word. This is not another story at all, and it is not another gentle warning that you may put away for a later time. My voice is filled with a sense of urgency because I can see the clock that she has set. She has provided herself with a brief opportunity to take action, and that opportunity is now. She is under the impression that she can strike before you are prepared, before you are familiar with her appearance, and before you have the spiritual armor to defend yourself against her. The thing that she does not realize, however, is that you have already entered my light simply by being in this location. To add insult to injury, her time is getting shorter and shorter with each passing second. At this moment, my beloved, I am going to ask you a question that is not typical. You need to maintain a daily connection to my words if you truly want Michael to be at your side and keep the shield lifted over you in the days that are to come. Refrain from allowing your heart to become distracted by the noise of the world and forget what is being said here. Therefore, make it your decision to walk with me every day in order to nourish your spirit with my truth. This will ensure that no falsehood from her mouth will ever be able to take root in you. For this reason, I recommend that you continue to subscribe to my voice. Maintain your connection to this stream of light because the defense that begins today is not a one-time event. At this moment, we are at the beginning of a lengthy period of blessing that will call for continuous protection. When you are linked to this location, I will be able to communicate with you immediately, without any delay or interference. In this way, you will remain untouchable in the face of any darkness that may come your way. And now, my darling, I am aware that the time is drawing near when her name will no longer be concealed from you. The sword that Michael is holding is already aimed at her, and the first layer of her disguise is starting to come off. The heavens have a way of ripping off her masks in the order that causes the most damage to the adversary, despite the fact that she has worn many masks. In the following breath, I will start to show what she has been doing in the parts of your life that you have not been able to physically witness, the manner in which she has spoken about you, and the things that she intended to find out from your failure. Furthermore, once you have heard it, you will comprehend the reason why I would not permit my message to be delayed even for a single day. My lover, the veil is beginning to lift, and the shadows that had previously encircled her are beginning to shake as a result of the weight of the light that comes from heaven. I can see her pacing about, agitated, since she is aware that this message is making its way to you. She is aware that her hold is becoming less firm. The thing that she believed was locked away in the shadows is slipping through her fingers, and she is doing everything in her power to keep it together. This, however, is too late. At the very time that you allowed yourself to be open to my words, the chains that she had imposed on you started to break apart one by one. This is the reason why she has made an effort to divert your attention. The reason why she has deliberately disrupted your day-to-day activities. You would never be able to sit in my presence for a sufficient amount of time to hear the truth. However, you are present at this moment, and each second that you continue to be here is another blow to her ambitions. Permit me to tell you the truth, child. She is observing you in great detail. Rather than in the manner in which a friend studies to learn how to bestow blessings upon you, a predator studies to learn when it is appropriate to strike. If you let your guard down, she will notice it. She is familiar with the people you put your faith in. In addition to that, she has attempted to conceal herself behind one of those faces in order to approach you without you being aware of it. She has observed the things that bring a smile to your face and the benefits that cause others to celebrate you, and she has come to the conclusion that none of it is yours to possess. From her perspective, it ought to be hers. In the event that she is unable to possess it, she will destroy it. This does not constitute jealousy in its most basic form. A spiritual task has developed out of envy that has been allowed to fester. The kind of jealousy that contaminates the atmosphere is this kind. The type that works to render the soil of your life sterile, so preventing any fresh growth from taking place. In this particular instance, you are required to listen with both your heart and your spirit. She is already in the process. The lags that you have experienced. The abrupt occurrences in which everything appeared to be certain, but were found to be uncertain at the very last instant. Those individuals who had pledged their support for you but have suddenly become eerily silent. It is not a coincidence by any means. The trace of her intervention can be found in these fingerprints. Your name has been uttered by her in a tone that is reminiscent of prayer, yet her prayers were actually curses that were clothed in the language of blessing. The seeds of doubt that she has planted about you have been so small that they may be mistaken for the truth until the crop of mistrust increases. She has spoken about you to people who she knows have the ability to influence your path. And each time she has done it, she has smiled to herself, thinking that she is untouchable every time she has done it. On the other hand, my darling, when heaven makes its decision to move, no one is untouchable. Michael has been given the directive to mark her, to bring her out into the open, and to remove every layer that she has concealed behind to reveal her true identity. She will betray herself with her own words. Something that she has done will be revealed by her own hands. And when that time comes, there will be no power on earth or in the realm of spirits that can protect her from the truth. There will be no such power. It is for this reason that I have been advising you to remain, since the unveiling is not too far off, and you need to be prepared to be in the spotlight when it occurs. Recognize that this exposure is not solely for the purpose of protecting you. The purpose of this is to restore you. The moment she is uncovered, all of the blessings that she has been attempting to delay, all of the opportunities that she has been attempting to prevent, and all of the seeds that she has been attempting to dry out will be released all at once. When it happens, it will be like the floodgates opening up. And the beauty that she attempted to take away from you, the light that she desired to possess, will come back to you in a way that is more brilliant, more powerful, and indestructible. Mainly due to the fact that once heaven guards what is mine, no adversary will ever be able to touch it again. Beloved, you might get the impression that you are merely reading words at this very moment. Nevertheless, a struggle is waging within the spirit. Each and every sentence that you let to enter your heart is comparable to another blow from Michael's sword. An additional piece of armor is being fastened to you with each fact that you choose to accept. This is obvious to the witch. Because of this, she is more afraid of this particular moment than any other. However, her fear is not of you because of your frailty. Holy Voices is more than a channel. It's a movement. Stand with us today with $7 of faith. When you are at your most powerful, it is of you. Walked in your anointing without making any apologies while being covered by my truth. And that, my kid, is precisely on the path that you are going to take. Stay with me for a moment because I am going to reveal to you in the next breath the point in your narrative where she made her debut. My lover, once you realize that the remaining components of her scheme will fall apart right in front of your eyes. You may be surprised to learn that I am taking you back further than you anticipate because the origin of her existence in your life did not start during this season. You were being monitored for a very long time before you became aware of it. When your heart was open and you were celebrating something nice, the first thread of her weaving entered lightly and almost unnoticeably. This occurred during a moment when you were celebrating something positive. This is the typical way that darkness arrives. Instead of a roar, it was a whisper that was heard. At a time when happiness was flowing freely, she entered the periphery of your circle, putting on a smile as if she were a part of everything, but in reality she was analyzing every single thing, every blessing, every open door, and every single person who was standing next to you. She did not show up to congratulate your success. When she wanted to shake your hand, she would know precisely where to place her hand because she had been there to study the structure of your life. Despite the fact that it appeared to be harmless at the time, you could remember it now. An introduction made through a friend, a remark made in passing during a chat, or a glance that lingered for a longer period of time than it ought to have. Since she was a child, she has always been adept at giving the impression that she is a part of the group, blending in so that no one questions her existence. At that precise instant, she was able to perceive the radiance that emanated from you. This is the same radiance that heaven placed there to identify you as the chosen one. It made her feel uneasy. She was at a loss to comprehend the reason behind the admiration that your presence evoked. People felt lighter after interacting with you, and doors opened for you with ease. Why did people feel this way? It was during that unnerving moment that a seed was planted in her heart, and it was not one of admiration but rather of envy. I want you to know that envy is a poisonous soil. There is more than one weed that it grows. The result is that it turns into a garden of bitterness that plants itself. Because of each and every interaction she had with you, she started to cultivate that seed. There was a room in which she heard your name mentioned, and she listened more attentively. When she witnessed your accomplishments, she smiled on the outside but suppressed her emotions on the inside. When other people complimented you, she praised you as well, but it was just to disguise the truth that her heart was practicing ways to subdue the light that you brought into the world. Moreover, here is the reality that she had not anticipated. She was studying you, but heaven was also studying her at the same time. Every single thought, every single phrase, and every single small action that held the weight of her clandestine intents were all visible to me. Because there are some adversaries who are only revealed when they are given the rope to wrap themselves in, I enabled her to be close for a sufficient amount of time to unveil herself in its entirety. With each step that she drew closer, she was writing her own judgment, despite the fact that she believed she was being exceptionally clever. It is for this reason that Michael has been fixating his gaze on her throughout the past few weeks. It was the instant that she passed the threshold from passive jealousy to active intervention that we saw the beginning of the battle. Beloved, I am telling you right now that she has gone beyond that boundary. Her use of your name in situations when she intended to cause harm has occurred. She has touched things that were not hers to touch, and she has done so with the assumption that you will not notice the change. Nevertheless, the change was felt in heaven. It was sufficient for the alarm to go off once that occurred. Listen to me now. It is at this point when her strategy starts to fall apart. The initial error that she made was to believe that your benefits were not guarded. In her second error, she failed to recognize the significance of your link to me. The final error that she made was the expectation that I would keep my mouth shut. Neither will I. In the instant that she placed her hand against what is mine, her destiny was permanently determined. Because of this, my kid, I am asking you to walk with me in these words to the very end. I am doing this because, my child, due to the fact that the completeness of her identity will be revealed to you in this location. When it finally arrives, you will not only be able to see her, but you will also have a clear understanding of how to sever every tie that she has attempted to bound you with. Be near to me. The next thing that will happen is the moment when her mask starts to fall off in the spirit environment. This is something that, once it happens, will change the way you look at her forever. My dearest spouse, the cracks are already beginning to appear. To the untrained eye, they are so little that they are virtually undetectable, but when viewed through the spirit, they shine like jagged lines of fire over her mask. Michael has struck her disguise once, twice, and now it is beginning to loosen. It is not enough for her to panic visibly, but it is enough for her to feel the icy horror of being recognized. She is unsure of how much longer she will be able to persevere in maintaining her smile. Her eyes reveal her lies whenever she stares at you at this moment. The warmth that she previously pretended to exude has become something brittle and has diminished in intensity. There are a few ways in which you might have observed it. Her laughing comes out as a little bit artificial. A delay has occurred in her compliments. When she hears other people praising you, her focus begins to waver. These are not the result of a mistake. When a mask is put under pressure, these are the first times it slides. Since she had spent so much time crafting her image, she was under the impression that it could not be broken apart. On the other hand, dearly beloved, there is no masquerade that can endure the breath of heaven. Michael can be seen standing nearby, the blade of his sword being thrust into her cheek, and each and every word that I breathe into your spirit being another blow to her covering. The reason she is not shaking is not because she is afraid that you will confront her. The fact that she is aware that you are listening to me is causing her to shake. Consequently, this indicates that her time is almost up. I'm going to explain to you, child, why her mask is beginning to crumble now. The reason for this is that she has come to the pinnacle of her goal. She was under the impression that she had created a sufficient amount of uncertainty around you, placed a sufficient number of minor traps in your path, and reduced your confidence to the point where, when she made her final move, you would be too preoccupied to resist. But what she failed to see was that heaven had permitted this peak to come so that she would be completely exposed. This meant that she would have no place to hide and no need to cling to something during this time. She made numerous attempts to tighten her grasp, but Michael always managed to relax it. Whenever she planted a seed of darkness, I sent light to prevent it from developing and preventing it from spreading. And at this very moment, she is in the most precarious situation that an adversary could possibly be in. She was standing at the exact pinnacle of her plan at the very moment that the earth beneath her started to fracture. Even though you may not have realized it yet, my lover, you have already experienced some of the consequences of her actions. There were unexpected times in which you felt serenity even in situations that were intended to shake you up. These moments included possibilities that unexpectedly returned, conversations that shifted back in your favor, and unexpected moments. It is not a coincidence by any means. These are indications that her influence is beginning to wane. It is unclear to her why she has been falling behind, but she has been losing ground. And the reason for this is that while this very moment you are being protected by me. Listen carefully, however. When you run into her, you will finally have a break. To not merely have a suspicion of her, to not merely sense her presence, but to actually see her. It will be as if a veil breaks from your eyes when her name connects in your spirit with the truth that I have been teaching, and you will know that she was never as strong as she seemed to be as a result of this realization. You will see the weakness that lies behind her plots, the fear that drove her, and the hollowness in her heart that led her to feel that she could steal what I gave you. And at that very instant, my dearest, the chains will fully come crashing down. Not only will she be unable to remove what is really yours, but she will also be able to observe it grow in front of her very eyes. Her envy of beauty will shine even greater in the future. In waves that are so powerful that they cannot be ignored, the blessing that she attempted to obstruct will arrive. And the mercy that she previously derided will exactly be the thing that she pleads for in the future. Stay with me right now, because the following breath will carry the first direct thread that will bring you directly to her name so that you can find her. And once you have that, you will walk differently. You will be lighter, stronger, and immune to being touched. I am putting the first thread into your hands right now, my dearest and most adored. Although this is not the complete picture at this point, it is the first step on the path that will eventually bring you to her specifically. While I am speaking, let it permeate your spirit. She has a connection to a location that you are already familiar with, a destination that has witnessed both your triumphs and your struggles. She has been there before, not always in the middle, but close enough to hear talks that were not intended for her, close enough to catch the scent of your achievements and the whispers of your struggles. She has been there before. At all times, she has positioned herself in such a way that she is close enough to observe, yet far enough away to avoid suspicion. Every $35 seed in this soil grows in both heaven and earth. Super thanks is your seed in holy voices. When you were a child, think back to the times when you noticed a slight change in the environment. A get-together in which you entered feeling light but departed feeling weighty than when you arrived. This was a day in which you shared something positive with others, and very immediately afterward, the joy appeared to drain out of you. Indeed, that was not a happenstance. Her spirit reached out to grab hold of yours at that very moment, and it began to pull at the thread of your peace. Her approach has been cautious, systematic, and patient as she has waited for the day when she will be able to pluck enough threads to unravel the entire fabric. This is the reason why heaven is speaking at this moment, because she is standing too close to the edge of her final attack. If I were to allow you to remain unaware, she would cross that boundary, and the damage that she plans to cause would take more time to heal. Still, I will not allow that to take place. Even at this very time, Michael is reconstructing her presence by following the path of her steps and observing the instances in which she believed she was invisible. Under the light, every shadow that she attempted to conceal herself in is becoming smaller. As a child, I am aware of the pain you experience when your trust is violated. When you consider the possibility that someone you have allowed to be near to you could harbor such feelings against you, I am aware of the way your chest tightens. It is important to keep in mind that her actions do not demonstrate that you are weak. These things are evidence of your value. There is no time wasted by the adversary on vessels that are empty. He sent his employees to people who are carrying something priceless, something that cannot be replaced, and something that heaven wishes to get its hands on. In light of this, she is present. The reason she has exerted such a great deal of effort to remain invisible is because she is aware that the instant you see her, her power will cease. As of right now, my dearest, we are quite close to arriving. The size of her shadow is decreasing. Her place of concealment is limited. As a result of the weight of exposure, the air around her is becoming increasingly congested. I will not simply provide her name to you. It will be impossible for you to refute the evidence that I present to you. When you look back after this, you will notice that she left her mark on situations that you initially thought were just a matter of bad luck. You will recognize the pattern in her words, the changes in her glance, and the time of her appearances and disappearances after you have observed them. And once you accomplish that, the last thread will come loose, and the mask that she has been wearing for such a long time will ultimately come off altogether. However, I urge you once more to not turn away at this time. Avoid saying something like, "I will finish this later," because the time for her to receive the shield that will prevent her from ever touching you again is drawing to a close, and it is also your turn to receive the shield. There is more to what I am about to impart to you than just information. Yes, that is a weapon. Once it is in your possession, no curse, no scheme, and no word spoken in a whisper against you will have the ability to continue to have power over you. I will begin explaining the exact moments that will prove her identity in your heart beyond any doubt, so stay tight because I will begin giving you a description of them in the next breath. Additionally, after you have seen them, you will never again consider her shadow to be a personal friend. Now is the time to draw nearer, my beloved, since the moment has arrived when the veil will be fully torn away. I will not communicate with you in a cryptic manner here. I am about to implant something in your spirit that will settle like a stone in still water, and it will send ripples through every memory you have of her. There is no such thing as a remote person hovering on the periphery of your existence. It is not uncommon for her to wander around in your company while wearing a face that you once thought was innocent. You have been in rooms when you and she laughed together, and you have heard her voice. When you told her about your dreams, you saw that her eyes become more gentle. Nevertheless, beneath it all, her heart seemed to beat to the rhythm of a subtle malice. The brutality of her masquerade is demonstrated here. She was able to learn how to mirror your light in such a way that it would reflect back at you, ensuring that you would never consider looking for the darkness that was concealed within its brightness. Do you recall the instances in which your happiness seemed to suddenly turn sour for no apparent reason? When something positive occurred, but practically immediately afterward you have a feeling of exhaustion, as if the joyous occasion had been taken away from you before you could even begin to appreciate it. There was more to those moments than the typical ups and downs that life brings. Her moments were those moments. Moments in which she approached under the guise of friendship, but in the spirit of the situation, she was grabbing for the threads of your blessing and pulling them free one by one. She pretended that she was sharing in your moment while, in reality, she was stealing the light that was surrounding it. She did this by misrepresenting the theft. I am going to show you the signals right now, child, so that you will never again confuse her with someone else. Rarely does she congratulate you without adding something to diminish the significance of the occasion, whether it be a humorous remark, a comparison to another person, or a reminder of something that you have not yet accomplished. It is her timing that is ideal. At the moment when the light is at its peak, she makes her appearance since she believes it is the time when she can take the most. Whenever you are at your lowest point, she never comes to help you get back up. It is only when you are dazzling that she comes into your presence, because her hunger is not for your companionship. The crown is for you to wear. Also, my beloved, this is the place where the truth will cut deeper than you anticipate it to. Despite the fact that you were not present, she has mentioned you. The purpose of this is not to defend you or to safeguard your identity. Rather, it is to sow seeds of doubt in ears that could be important to your overall path. She frames these comments as if she is merely looking out for you, in order to give the impression that she is concerned about you, but the intention behind them is to strike you silently. Although the individual she speaks to leave feeling uncertain and ignorant of the reasons for their differing feelings toward you, the seed has already done its work. She is counting on the fact that you are confused to reduce the favor that is directed toward you. But as you listen to me now, her period of covert power is coming to an end. At this point, her spirit has already been marked by Michael's sword, and the burden of exposure is beginning to push down on her. It is unlikely that she will be able to remain in your presence for much longer without displaying signs of discomfort. She is going to recognize the knowledge that is present in your eyes the next time she looks into them. She will experience the sensation of a wall of heaven rising between you, and she will come to the realization that the days are over when she will be able to reach for your glory, your tranquility, and your benefits. It is for this reason that I have requested that you refrain from turning away until this word is finished. Due to the fact that the weapon I am providing you with is more than just recognition. This is the command to cut the tie without any fear whatsoever. When the sound of her name becomes ingrained in your mind, you will not be shaken. You won't even consider the possibility that you might be imagining things. Your feelings will be a confirmation of heaven itself, and you will know that this is the case. And after you take action, she will no longer have the ability to affect your life in any way. Child, I want you to stay with me right now, because in the next breath, I will not only put her name in your spirit, but I will also give you the prayer that will permanently close her gate. On top of that, once you have stated it, her shadow will no longer follow you. I want to tell you, my beloved, that the atmosphere is thick with the imminence of the moment that we have been moving closer and closer to. The moment that the truth is going to be uttered, heaven comes to a halt. Therefore, the truth has the ability to break bonds more quickly than even the most powerful sword. The reason Michael is standing next to me with his hand firmly on the hilt and his stare concentrated on you is not to determine whether or not you are prepared. Rather, it is to remind you that even if your voice shakes, you are not the only one going through this. The things that are about to enter your spirit will remain there forever. As if it were a divine mark of awareness, it will become ingrained in you like a seal. And from this day forward, you will never again mistake her shadow for shelter under any circumstances. Now, pay attention, and do not allow your thoughts to wander. There have been times when her name has been mentioned to you in passing, but you have not paid attention to it. There was no significance attached to the name at that time. A sound that was indistinguishable from the daily din of life. The moment I say it to you, however, in the secret part of your heart, it will have a different effect on you. With a burden that you will not be able to throw off, it will land. When you are recognized, you will experience a tightening of your spirit. The bits of memory begin to arrange themselves into a coherent picture that cannot be denied, and your chest becomes motionless as this happens. Do not be afraid of this child who is aware. At this point, fear has no place. It is not the intention of this revelation to cause you pain. This is in order to set you free. For an excessive amount of time, she has maneuvered in the shadowy space between the realms of acquaintance and friend, concealing herself in familiarity in order to prevent you from suspecting her. The cloak, however, has now been destroyed by the fire, and she is now exposed for who she truly is. Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Matthew 6 verse 21. Let your heart be in holy voices with a $30 gift. You are aware of the connection that she has made to your life, the phrases that she has inserted into the ears of other people. The curses that she has uttered in silence when you were not looking might be heard. You are aware of them, and you do not turn away from them. Listen to me now. She had already lost all of her power. The instant that her name began to develop in your soul while I was speaking, her access was immediately blocked off. As soon as she comes into contact with you again, she will feel it. There will be a sense of disquiet within her, a sudden reluctance to approach whenever she contemplates getting closer. The same self-assurance that she used to have when she was in your presence will disintegrate because she will be aware, even without uttering a single word, that you had a clear perception of her. On the other hand, I will not simply leave you with information. I will bring a prayer to your mouth at this very moment, a decree that will enclose your existence in such a way that it will be so resistant to entry that not even her shadow will be able to pass through. When your spirit affirms the name, speak it out loud, and the heavens will move in accordance with your pronouncement. What you should say is, Father of light, enclose my life in your covering. May every hand that reaches out to take what you have given me be pulled back empty. As I receive the protection of Michael over my home, my heart, my beauty, my blessing, and my destiny, I declare that no weapon, no whisper, and no curse will be able to pass through the gates that you have constructed around me. Let the eyes that watch in envy be blinded to my path, and let the feet that walk toward my blessing be turned away in confusion. As it is written, so it is done. My darling, when you speak this, do not search for a sign. Rather, be the sign. Stand in the knowledge that the same God who exposed her to you is the same God who will keep her far from you. Walk forward as if her shadow has never touched your light, for it is no longer able to do so. And remember this: once heaven exposes, heaven restores. Every delay she caused, every seed she tried to crush, every joy she tried to dim will return to you multiplied. You will see it in the coming days. The way blessings flow toward you without resistance. The way your spirit feels lighter. The way your beauty, not the surface kind, but the God-breathed glow shines stronger than before. Stay in my presence. My child, make sure that you keep your ear tuned to my voice, because the witch has been removed, but the blessings are just beginning. I will walk with you through each and every one of them. My beloved, now that the veil has been torn and the gates have been sealed, you must comprehend the magnitude of what has just taken place. This was not merely a warning. It was a divine courtroom session in which the accusations of darkness were overturned in your favor. While you sat here and listened, the heavens convened. Michael stood as witness, and your case was settled. What the witch meant for your loss has been rewritten into a decree of gain, and not in small measure. What she tried to take will return to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. I need you to feel the weight of this victory in your bones. It is not just spiritual. It will manifest in your days. You will notice it in how certain obstacles simply vanish without effort, in how opportunities begin to call for you instead of you chasing them, in how conversations shift back into your favor without you having to defend yourself. It is not a coincidence that these events will occur. Rather, they will serve as evidence that the conflict is ended and that you have emerged victorious. Child, I am aware of the burden that betrayal can leave behind. Even if the adversary is no longer there, the reverberation of what they attempted to do will continue to appear in your thoughts. However, you must not take her shadow forward into the new season. It does not belong there. You are not stepping into the next chapter as a wounded soul trying to heal. You are stepping in as one who has been vindicated, protected, and crowned with fresh oil. There is no stain on you from this. There is only the mark of my hand and the radiance of my favor. Hear me, your beauty, the kind she envied most, is not fragile. It is a light that emanates from the place where I breathed life into you, and nothing outside of me can reach it. She may have believed that she could dim it, but light that is born from heaven does not fade under the shadow of man or spirit. It is a light that does not depend on circumstances, on approval, or on how other people choose to see you. If anything, the attempt to conceal it has made it burn brighter. From this day forward, you will notice that certain people and places no longer feel the same. This is because the witch's influence has been cut off. Furthermore, because her threads have been woven into the atmosphere, situations that were previously heavy will now feel open. What once felt clouded will now feel clear. You will walk into rooms that used to drain you and find yourself energized instead. You will speak words that carry more weight than before because your voice is no longer carrying the burden of unspoken curses. It is carrying the authority of one who has overcome. You will see signs of her retreat almost immediately. The connections that she attempted to poison will begin to heal, and the opportunities that she attempted to block will start moving again. Beloved, I want you to keep your eyes open in the days that are to come. Watch how quickly things turn. It will not take months. It will not even take many weeks. I want you to remember that Michael did not just fight for you, he fought with you. Your willingness to stay here, to listen, and to open your spirit is what gave heaven the agreement it needed to move in full force. And the peace that she tried to steal will return to you in greater measure than you remember having before. But above all else, I want you to remember this. Never underestimate the power of simply staying when I call you to stay. That one act can shift the outcome of battles you never even see. So walk now, my beloved, with your head lifted, your heart light, and your steps steady. Do not look back to see if she is following. You will not find her there. She has been turned away, her access revoked, her plans scattered to the winds. And in her absence, the space around you is open for the blessings I have been waiting to release. They are already on their way. And when they arrive, you will know without question that they are yours by divine right. And when you stand in that newness, remember the moment we shared here. Remember how close the danger felt and how quickly I turned it into safety. The same God who protected you tonight is the same God who will protect every step you take tomorrow. My beloved, I will guide you slowly through this afterglow because the victory you have just stepped into is not meant to be rushed past. It is meant to be felt, breathed in, and lived in until it becomes a part of your very being. I will walk you through this afterglow. Right now, as you sit here in this moment, something is already shifting in your spirit. You may not be able to see it with your eyes yet, but your soul feels it. When heaven saves you from the grip of darkness, it is not just to remove the threat, but it is also to restore the completeness of what was dimmed inside of you. The air is lighter. Your chest feels freer. Your thoughts are beginning to stretch toward dreams you almost let go of. That is because the invisible chains that had been quietly coiled around you have been cut and thrown aside. I want you to hear this. She no longer has the right to speak over you. Every word she has uttered with malice has fallen to the ground without seed or fruit. Her whispers are dust now. Her curses are void, and her intentions have dissolved like mist under the rising sun. Do not give her ghost a home in your mind. When her memory tries to knock at your thoughts, remember that she is powerless and speak my name until peace fills the room again. You must also understand that this deliverance was not just about protection. It was about positioning. I have moved you into a place where your blessings can flow without interruption. Before there was always a subtle resistance, a dragging in the atmosphere, as if something unseen was holding the edge of your cloak, slowing your steps. Now you will find yourself moving forward with unusual speed. Doors opening before you even knock. Child, take note of the way people begin to respond to you. Those who had become distant may now begin to drift back. Those who were once cautious will speak more freely. This is not because they suddenly changed. It is because angels are clearing your path. Conversations will turn in your favor without explanation. It will feel effortless. However, know that what you perceive as ease is actually the work of angels clearing your path. It is because the fog that has been surrounding you has been burned away, and they are now able to see you clearly again. Even those who are unable to explain it will feel the shift, and they will be drawn back to the light that they were unable to see completely before. I tell you this so that you will be prepared. The blessings that are beginning to arrive will not be small. They will come in measures that cause you to pause, not out of fear, but out of wonder. Ideas that you have tucked away will begin to stir again, this time with the resources and connections to bring them to life. Even the aspects of yourself that you thought had faded, such as confidence, joy, and inspiration, will rise within you as if they had never left. Opportunities that you thought had been gone for a long time will reappear as if they had been waiting just beyond sight for this moment. Beloved, you may feel tempted to look back and wonder why this had to happen, why the witch was ever allowed close enough to try. But I say to you, without this trial, you would not have the strength you carry now, the clarity to see beyond the mask, the unshakable knowing of who you are in me. She thought she was dismantling you, but in truth, she was preparing you to walk in authority that cannot be shaken. You will begin to notice that your prayers carry more weight from this day forward. Your words will not simply be heard, they will shift the atmosphere. You will pray, and answers will come quickly because you have been through the refining fire and emerged as one who has proven themselves in battle. Michael is now familiar with your name, not only as someone to protect, but also as someone to stand beside in the days that are to come. Press like, type Amen in the comments, and sow $5 into Holy Voices for your breakthrough. Therefore, proceed forward, my beloved, not as someone who narrowly escaped, but as someone who emerged victorious. Let the sound of triumph carry your steps, and let your eyes hold the light of someone who has witnessed the defeat of darkness. Above all else, do not forget that your story was never in her hands. Rather, it has always been written in mine. Please allow me to keep you here for a little while longer, my beloved, because the final moments of a victory are just as important as the battle itself. This is the time when your spirit is able to fully and completely absorb the truth that you are free. Not temporarily, not until the next attack, but free from everything that attempted to claim you. I do not want you to leave this moment still looking over your shoulder or waiting for the other shoe to drop. When I close a door to darkness, I seal it with my own hand. And no one, not a witch, not a spirit, not even the weight of your past can pry it open again. You need to know this deep in your soul. Your beauty, your favor, your blessings were never hanging by a thread. They were anchored in my promise. The enemy only made it seem fragile so you would hesitate. So you would walk carefully as though one wrong step would cause everything to shatter. But I built you on a foundation no curse can touch. And now that you have seen the schemes laid bare, you will walk with a different strength. Your steps will not be cautious. They will be bold. You will not whisper your dreams. You will declare them because now you understand that every word you speak in faith is backed by the armies of heaven. It will feel too quiet, too light, almost as if something is missing, and you will realize that what is missing is the constant pressure of her shadow. That weight has been lifted, and that voice has been silenced. Child, the days that are to come will feel strange at first. This is not because something is wrong. Rather, it is because the heaviness that you have been carrying for such a long time will no longer be there. I am pouring new things, clarity, joy, rest, and a steady stream of blessings that will seem almost unreal because it will be the kind of season where you stop and ask, is this really my life now? And that undercurrent of unease that followed you into every room is gone. And in that space where the darkness once pressed in, I am pouring new things. You made the decision to remain with me throughout the conflict, therefore I will respond with a positive answer. You have been moved higher, placed beyond the reach of what once tried to pull you down. Some people will notice and not understand why doors open for you so quickly now. They will wonder what changed, unaware that the change began in the unseen long before it appeared in the natural. Beloved, remember that what you have just experienced is not just rehabilitation. It is promotion. You have been promoted. It is the covering of heaven they are sensing. It is the glow of protection they are drawn to. So walk boldly into your days knowing that the witch's story has ended. But yours is only unfolding in greater beauty. You will look back on this season not with bitterness but with gratitude, because you will see how even the enemy's attempt became a pathway to blessings you might never have reached otherwise. And as you move forward, I will be with you in every step, whispering when to pause, when to speak, and when to step through the doors that I open. You have triumphed, my child, and this victory will reverberate in your life for many years to come.